I decided to make a video on 10 of the more exciting and, well, some of them are important, football rivalries when it comes to Southern football. Now, okay, one or two of them may be more of a different area because, well, the SEC is considered Southern football, and that includes schools that, in my opinion, are geographically Midwest, but they're considered Southern, so we'll go with it. But past that, I'm not listing these as in 1 through 10. You can tell me what. I'm not getting into the argument over which rivalry is better or whatnot. I'm just listing the 10 best Southern rivalries. I do include a G5 rivalry. Uh, I think that these 10 are going to be the ones that make the biggest impact, have made the biggest impact, and will continue to make the biggest impact over the years. And you may be going, but you said there's a G5 one there, and that doesn't make any impact. Well, on the G5 level, it does, but not necessarily to what everybody else thinks. I am over people thinking, oh, it's G5, it's not that important. G5's got the best rivalry, Army Navy. So don't tell me that. But these 10, I want you to tell me what you think after the end of this. If you think I've got the 10 best rivalries, because these 10, I've looked at them and I've looked through them and I've gone, that's the ones. So here we go. Hey folks, this is Paul with Redneck Sports. I want to thank you for viewing my video, and I want to give you one thought process. There was a famous coach at the University of Tennessee by the name of General Robert Neyland. He had 6 maxims, but number 2 maxim is what everybody should apply to their life. Play for and make the breaks. When one comes your way, score. That's how to live your life right there. Okay, so we are starting off with a 3-team rivalry. It's called the Florida Cup. It's Florida, Florida State, and Miami. Now, Florida and Florida State is called the Sunshine Showdown. And currently, Florida leads that 38-28 to 2. Then you got Florida, Miami, where Miami leads that 30-27. In Florida State, Miami, Miami leads that one 36-33. So it's a pretty close rivalry, except for between Florida and Florida State. And these three, they bring the power. I mean, you've got the Criminals. Yes, the Florida State Criminals, not Seminoles. Crimoniles. Criminals. I still remember when Miami and Florida State were the penal colonies of college football, them and UNLV. But these 3 teams every year put out some of the better games in college football, especially when you consider that you're looking at 3 games, or yeah, you're looking at 3 games right there. And okay, they don't play every year, but these folks really go at it. And before this mercenary football that we've got going right now, this really what did mean something. I mean, Bobby Bowden, Steve Spurrier. You talk about, I mean, George Mira. You've got all kinds of coaches and players that are part of these 3 teams. Seriously, it really is a 3-team rivalry that people should pay attention to. And yeah, Florida State and Miami and at times Florida have gotten a little. less than, but you're talking about 57 meetups between the Gators and Miami, uh, 70 between Florida State and Miami, and 68 between Florida State. You can't tell me that these three teams and how they are with each other, that it isn't something to watch. Something to look forward to when you love Southern football, when you love Florida football, and just the history behind it all. The players, the coaches, yeah, great, great rivalry. Moving slightly north, we're going to go with the Florida Georgia rivalry. Now, don't get the nickname mistaken. World's largest outdoor cocktail party. Name's not officially used anymore, but let's just say that when you have to when you have to play in a neutral location, there may just be a tad bit of hatred involved in this game. Just a tad bit. Kirby Smart will probably never leave Georgia for this game. It's this game that he, as a player, learned to hate Florida. Now, if you look at the records, according to Florida, they've met 102 times. According to Georgia, they've met 103 times. So per Florida, Georgia leads 56-44-2. Per Georgia, Georgia leads 57-44-2. The largest victory, Georgia 75 to nothing, 1942. Longest win streak, both of them are at 7 games. Current win streak, Georgia is at 4. And let me tell you something, Kirby Smart's going to try to beat that record. Yeah, this game really does hit you in the hardcore of games. Like I said, when you have to have a game where you have to set it away from either one of the schools, such as like Army Navy, I think that's really it. That is how hardcore this game is. Um, Steve Spurrier's played in this game. Kirby Smart's played in this game. I mean, you're talking the coaches are just yeah, they span the list. Florida Georgia games have been played in Jacksonville almost every season since 1933. Neutral site trend began very early in the series. In over 100 meetings, the rivalry has been played at on-campus facilities on just 7 occasions. Florida's original football facility, Fleming Field, was quite small and primitive, so early Gator squads routinely scheduled home games against major college opposition in various cities across the state. Early Florida Georgia contests were held in Jacksonville 3 times, Savannah twice, and Tampa once, along with several Georgia home games in Athens. The disputed 1904 game was played in Macon, Georgia. Not that neutral, but you know. Um, these This is like one of those games that you have to be a major fan of college football for. And it's worth it. Like I said, this is one of the reasons why Kirby Smart was happy to take over Georgia and why he will most likely try to make sure that he gets the longest win streak. He really, really does not like Florida. So let's get on to the next one. Okay, the third rivalry we're going to talk about. quite literally called clean old fashioned hate. Georgia, Georgia Tech. All time series, Georgia, they played 118 times against each other. Georgia leads this one 72 41 to 5. So it's not much of a rivalry. Longest win streak, Georgia Tech had eight, 1949 to 1956. Current win streak, Georgia's at seven, so they might beat that one. The largest victory, Georgia Tech won 48 to nothing. You don't know who Bobby Dodd is? That is the coach for Georgia Tech that you should pay attention to. Vince Dooley, Derek Dooley's dad. Mark Richt had a 13-2 record. Paul Johnson came to Georgia Tech. He said, "What game do y'all want to win?" He said, "What game do y'all want us to prepare for?" And this was before mercenary football. They said they wanted to beat Georgia his first year. They were able to do it. Now, mind you, Paul Johnson only ended up 3-8 versus UGA, but that first year was overtime, and Georgia Tech went to win 30-24. This is like when you're down there. I've heard some folks talk about this game. Good old, clean, old fashioned hate. When you have a name like that one, I mean, it really is. Uh, it's not. I mean, it is a little lopsided, but at one time it was. Like I said, you have to look up the name Bobby Dodd to really understand Georgia Tech football. Unfortunately, for a lot of years, they went downhill. Um, I mean, Georgia Tech has four national championships that they can claim: 1917, 28, 1952, and 1990. Georgia also claims four titles: 42, 80, 21, and 22. That is These are two important schools, and you saw last year this was multiple overtimes. They fight. It is a dog fight from the start, and it is a dog fight to the end. Yeah, just realized that was a little bit of a pun. But this, hey, the Yellow Jackets, Bulldogs, if you want to see a game every year, might not always be that clear cut, but there are going to be some years, like last year, that no matter what, this will be the game. Now, with mercenary players, this is going away as a thought process, but it's still clean, old fashioned hate. Okay, for the fourth rivalry that we're going to go over, it's called Deeper Than Hate. No joke, Deeper Than Hate. App State, Georgia Southern. The Mountaineers and Eagles just started when they were both FCS schools. These two, oh my God. You're talking about they were they would be playing each other when one of them was number one in the nation in FCS, well, Division 1A, and the other was number two. Yeah, that seriously happened. To call it deeper than hate ain't even beginning to call it. Uh, there have been 40 meetings. Currently, App State leads it 22-17 to 1. Largest victory, App State 59 nothing 1939. Georgia Southern, longest win streak 2000 to 2002. And current win streak, Georgia Southern got them last year. This really goes. Now, mind you, it stopped for a little while. Uh, It was played 32-34, twice in 1934, by the way. 35, 36, 39, and then went to 1987 before they met each other again. And then went to 93. And since then, they have pretty much played each other every year. It is a slam bang game. The first time around, South Georgia teachers beat the App State Teachers College, Appalachian State Teachers College, 33-0. And they won the second game in 34, 22-13. And then App State started figuring out how to beat them. They're both historically teachers' colleges. That's what they started out as. People don't understand normal schools anymore. They've combined to win 9 national championships, 4 Walter Payton Awards, and 2 Buck Buchanan Awards. The Buck Buchanan Awards are awarded annually to the most outstanding defensive player in Division I football championship subdivision college football. Walter Payton Awards awarded annually to the most outstanding offensive player in the NCAA Division I football championship subdivision. These two teams, they get knocked down, drag out in this game. They really do. They get knocked down, drag out. If you haven't ever watched it, you should. Yes, currently App State leads it, but 22-17 is not that major of a difference here. This is not Georgia Tech. This is App State and Georgia Southern, and you really should watch these two go at it. Don't get it twisted. With the name like the Palmetto Bowl or the Palmetto Series, this sounds like a lot nicer than what it really is. Clemson and South Carolina. These two have been going at it for a while. Now, right now, when it 73, 44, and 4 is what the current thing is. Clemson leads the series. Don't get it twisted. There's more to it than that. Uh, Especially when you take a look at these two hate each other over being in state rivalries. Uh, this is far more than just this is far more than just football. Um, they've had 121 meetings. Largest victory, Clemson 51-0. Longest win streak, Clemson had 7, and they've done it twice. South Carolina, yeah, you saw what they did last year. These two teams should go at it. Now, this started out more in the ACC than it did, well, the Southern Conference, actually. Heck, even before that, the SAIC. Yeah, these two really have been together for a long time when it comes to wanting to go after each other. Now, mind you, South Carolina's in the SEC and Clemson in the ACC, but South Carolina has knocked Clemson off their rear end or off their throne on more than one occasion. Heck, they've taken them out of going for a national championship. They South Carolina has been a scary team for a long time, and man, do they show it. They will knock you on your rear end. Is the best way to put it. They don't play games with each other. Shane Beamer has this has been when it comes to Shane Beamer time, Beamer ball. Yeah, this has been that. So if you want a good, just downright hateful bowl game, this is the game to watch right here. basketball, football, every sport, these two go at it. But football games, oh my God. When you're talking about that Clemson's been in the running for national championship multiple times and Clemson's just come along and smacked them around, yeah, it really is that good of a game and you should watch it. Now, I'm going to go out west a little bit here. Red River rivalry, Red River showdown, shootout, you name it. These two just hate each other. They've had 120 meetings. Texas and Oklahoma. Texas Longhorns, Oklahoma Sooners. 120 meetings. Texas leads 64, 51, and 5. Oklahoma had the largest victory at 65 and 13. 65 to 13. That was in 2003, so it's not been that long ago. Texas has twice had 8 wins, had a win streak of 8 wins. Uh, yeah, Oklahoma may look like they're rolling over. They ain't. This is a big deal between these schools. It really is. Red River is just, there's a golden hat that you win. Now, I remember back in the day, it was far more important. But you're talking about these two teams just go at it. First time they met was 1900. This is featured number one versus number two in it. Uh, the wishbone offense was a prominent. I mean, you're talking about one of the games called Game of the Century. Well, that happens all the time. There's so many games of the century. It ain't even funny. Uh, but these two, they want to hit each other and hit each other often in this game. The coaches that have been involved in this game, the players that have been involved in this game. Don't think that Texas right now being in the lead with 64 versus 51, don't think that that's going to stick around. Since 1934, the game has been played on the second Saturday of October, though it has occasionally been played on the first Saturday. Since 1932, the game site has been the Cotton Bowl. The winner of the regular season matchup receives a golden hat, a gold 10-gallon hat, once made of bronze. The trophy is kept at the winning school's athletic department until the next game. They It used to be called Red River Shootout, but then people, oh, gun violence, and you don't want it. Then the Red River Rivalry or the Red River Showdown. I haven't seen a game like Oklahoma tries to get up for this game. Texas tries to. They talk about this every year, and it is well worth talking about. I love this game, and it being in the SEC, just it really is an amazing thing to have in the SEC. Now, this one is a lopsided thing currently. Auburn versus Alabama, the Iron Bowl. Alabama leads this one 51-37 to 1. Alabama won it 55 to nothing in 1948. Alabama has had a win streak of 9 in it. They're currently 5 games up. This game is so wild that somebody called into Paul Feinbaum's show and admitted on air that he had poisoned a tree of Auburn and actually got arrested and spent time in prison for poisoning an Auburn tree because he was an Alabama fan. This game, Paul. And if you're in Alabama during this time, oh my lord, the Iron Bowl is the game. Started in 1893. They've met 89 times. Uh, Played for many years at Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama. In the early 20th century, Birmingham was the leading industrial city of the South, leading Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in the production of pig iron, coal, and the manufacture of steel. Thus, the term Iron Bowl came to represent the rivalry. Uh, y'all know the coaches. Y'all know the players. These two get at it. Like I said, I mean, when the fans are poisoning trees, yeah, this has helped determine who's going to the national championship on more than one occasion. Up until recently, it was only played at Alabama. It was started from the extension of a bitter political debate which took place in the Alabama state legislature regarding the location of the new land grant college under the state's application for that. They've had a trophy that probably has been busted up at this point. No, it's actually still around. Uh, I mean, seriously, when you got to bring in politics to just tell what this is all about, it they've got a trophy, the Foy ODK Trophy, named after James Foy, former dean of student affairs at both schools, and the Omicron Delta Kappa and Honor Society on both campuses since the 1920s. Uh, you got people, you're talking about they get all at it. The first time this was put on air, Joe Namath was the quarterback. Yes, this goes that this is the games are well worth it. If you haven't ever done it, by the way, Bear Bryant earned 300 his 315th career win when he became the all-time winningest coach in the Iron Bowl. Joe Namath coaching it. Just seriously, this is the game to watch right here, and they have to bring in politics. Go figure. I'm going to go with a slightly different one than people understand. It's called the Egg Bowl, ladies and gentlemen. This is an old school rivalry, just like all the others. And currently, they've met 121 times. First time they met was 1901. Ole Miss leads 66-46 to 6. Largest victory was Mississippi State 65 to nothing in 1915. Longest win streak, Mississippi State holds that 13 from 1911 to 1925. Current win streak, Ole Miss has only got 2 wins. It's called the Egg Bowl. The Bulldogs, Mississippi State, dominated in the early days of the series, including a 13-game A&M win streak from 1911 1925. They outscored who are now the Rebels 327 to 33 in that time. This is just an amazing series. Yes, Ole Miss currently leads it, and it doesn't look like they're going to be giving up on that anytime soon. But it doesn't mean that it hasn't been interesting over the years. When Mike Leach was there, far different outcome. You're talking Arch Griffin has played in this game, or Arch Manning, sorry. Arch Manning's played in this great game. Eli Manning has played in this game. The coaches that have been part of this, Mike Leach, David Cutcliffe, now Lane Kiffin, even though he's, it depends on your take on this. Because the football looks like an egg, that's why they call it the Egg Bowl. Yeah. And you're talking, people get into it. Jackie Sherrill has been coached there. 1983, the Immaculate Deflection or the Wind Bowl. In what's become known to Ole Miss and state fans as the Immaculate Deflection, the 1983 Egg Bowl played in Jackson is notable because the wind helped preserve Ole Miss's 24-23 victory. Down by a point with 24 seconds left in the game, State kicked what would have been a 27-yard game-winning field goal. Bulldog freshman kicker Artie Cosby kicked it straight and long and what appeared to be over the crossbar, but the ball reached the goalpost. A 40-mile-per-hour gusting wind suspended the ball midair before it reached the uprights, after which it fell short of the goalpost, securing a victory for the Rebels. That was 1983. Yep, you could go back and just study this game, and you will see those kinds of things happening. This is the Egg Bowl for you. And for this night game, we're going back to the G5. Why? Because few people pay attention to the G5, and the Southern G5 schools still know how to put on a good game. Told you about Deeper Than the Hate, App State versus Georgia Southern. We're going to do 100 Miles of Hate. That's right, that's the name. 100 Miles of Hate. This is Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders versus the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. They have been playing each other since 1914, 74 meetings total. Western Kentucky leads it 38-35 to 1. Largest victory 1978, Western Kentucky 54 to nothing. Longest win streak Western Kentucky 7. Longest unbeaten streak 1922 to 1934 10. Well, even though the longest win streak's 28 to 34, that's 7. But that means that there were 3 ties before that. Current win streak, Western Kentucky's at 6. Now, literally the first 2 games, 1914 and 1915, Middle Tennessee won 47 to nothing 2 years in a row. Then Middle Tennessee won 17 to 7, and then, well, it went from there. And it's not that lopsided, but the universities first played each other in 1914, separated by literally 100 miles along U.S. Route 231. For much of their football histories, they have been conference rivals in leagues such as Ohio Valley Conference and the Sun Belt Conference. The rivalry was on hiatus from 91 to 2007, resuming after Western Kentucky transitioned up to Division One. Well, both FBS, and became a football member of Sun Belt Conference in 2009. Western Kentucky has been in that. Okay, they were part of that in non-football. After Middle Tennessee left the Sun Belt, the Conference USA, it went on hiatus again, but it was renewed when Western Kentucky joined Conference USA. A lot of excitement, tensions. These fans are close to each other. It gets to it. Listening to folks talk about this game, holy cow, because I'm from Tennessee. I know folks that went to Middle Tennessee. They talked about this rivalry, that especially the ones that know the old games and everything like that. You're talking uh Yeah, Western Kentucky won in 2024, 49-21, 31-10 the year before that, 35-17 the year before that, 48-21. Yeah, Middle Tennessee, now, mind you, MTSU fans, talking about that MTSU might be getting better, but Western Kentucky, yeah, this is the game that they want to win every year. Okay, I chose the 10th game I talked about, and it's my personal favorite, so I decided this is the game that made me go, okay, I'm not going to list the games in any particular order for the simple fact of that this would have been number one in my opinion, and others may not have thought about it that way. Third Saturday in October. Literally, that's the name of the game of the rivalry. Alabama Crimson Tide versus Tennessee Volunteers. This is just one of those games. Bear Bryant played General Neyland 7 times. I don't think all of them were Alabama, but you're talking about 7 times, 5 victories for General Neyland, 2 ties. This is what Bear Bryant had to say in his book, The Last Coach, Life of Paul Bear Bryant. Everyone thinks I'm the best damn coach in the country, but Neyland taught me everything I know. In 7 attempts, Bear Bryant never defeated General Neyland. I never beat him, he said, but I learned a lot from playing him. At General Neyland's retirement banquet, Bryant muttered, "Thank God the old guy finally quit." That is that encapsulates part of this. They've met 107 times. First game was played in 1901, 6-6 tie. 59, 40, and 7. Yes, Alabama leads it. They got the largest victory, 51 and nothing in 1906. Longest win streak, Alabama 15 and Tennessee 7. That win streak came because we had an athletic director problem. We didn't have a coaching problem. We didn't have a player problem. We had a athletic director problem because they kept hiring coaches that weren't worth the flip. And this game is the reason why you hire a good coach. The winner of this game lights up the cigar. That was actually started by Jim Goostrey, the head athletic trainer for Alabama. The streaks have been amazing. Uh, Johnny Majors, an 11 game Alabama win streak, 71-81, was broken in 1982 when Johnny Majors led the Vols to an upset victory over Bear Bryant and Tide. Um, Tennessee needs to get their head. This is the game that Tennessee needs to get their head out the rear end for. And Josh Heupel seems to have done exactly that. Tennessee in 2003, Tennessee won this game 51-43 in 5 overtimes. No joke, 5 overtimes, 51-43. Tennessee, this game has been lost and won by minimal points or maximal points. It's one of those games that I will watch. Now, Bear Bryant hated playing in Neyland Stadium. He hated it, but he could still win there. Uh, he won there 27 nothing in 1980. 78, he won 30-17 there. 76, he won 20-13. Yeah, he hated playing there, but he could win there. This is my favorite series. Love this game. So, that's Pin Rivalry. Now, I hope folks like this list. I know it's a little bit long of a video, but these folks, oh my God, these are the games to pay attention to if you love college football. Really, really does. Really, really is. I mean, I have been watching college football for most of my life, and I'm right at 50. These games are the ones that you pay attention to. You got Georgia, Georgia Tech. I got you two G5 rivalries in here because Southern schools do it right. Now, I could have covered some other old school rivalries because, well, Tennessee's got a couple of rivalries that are amazing to talk about that I've done research on, but I'm not going to. I'm going to cover the ones that have been around the longest and have been a major impact. Maybe a major impact in the G5 realm or whatnot, but there's still a major impact. These are the Southern football just does it right. Yeah, you've got the game, as they call it. But I hate to tell you this, but that's one out of it all. I seriously have been watching college football long enough that I don't really see it as a anything past that. There are a few other rivalries that are good, but you can't tell me that South doesn't get it right. I mean, we do this stuff every year, and we haven't done it bad at any point. But you tell me what you think. Also, hit like, subscribe if you want to. I've got a link down there in my link tree to get to my Patreon if you want to be a real helpful person to help my channel out. This has been Paul with Redneck Sports. Y'all have a good day now. Bye. I want to thank you for watching my video. And if you like what you saw, like, subscribe, and comment. Y'all have a good day now.